think right now, just the relationship that I had with my father was pretty traumatic in the sense that the places that I think I went in my mind, the emotions that I allowed myself to be exposed to through that relationship. Well, pretty much the lifestyle that took me down that road of what they say, bad choices, dangerous situations. My father raised me to be a street militant, or the term I like to use is a street entrepreneur, because that was all that was around at the time for him, I guess, and all my brothers. That's what we were exposed to, and I just wanted to be part of the family. But the traumatic part about it was when you're taught to be a certain way, versus if you're a kid on the street and you just happen to be around the wrong crowd and you make a choice to do something. But when you're taught to live a certain way or taught to be this way, it comes with a different mindset. Because now that in your mind, for me, there was no giving up. So you would push through different things that may have, I think, could have saved me from going a certain way. But because I was taught to be this way and this is what I was trying to do, I strive daily to be the best at what it was to be on the streets. Yeah, it was one of those situations where, mom knew it. And as a child, we don't think a lot of times our parents have valid information, But I feel like every mother has a direct line with the higher forces of this world. And I use the word God, but I feel like God always kept my mom on speed dial because he knew the kind of child that I was. So she pretty much told me, hey, I'm gonna need you to just stay home today and hang out with me. And that didn't make sense of it at the time. Again, that's where that meditation would have helped. I just knew I had to get to this certain call, make this money, and it was a situation that just wasn't in my best interest. Wrong place at the wrong time. Some words were exchanged. Some gunplay was involved. I was shot in the femoral artery, point blank range, and it was an interesting experience because I was shot by somebody that I knew, somebody that I considered to be dear to me, and to look somebody in the eye after they could do, the end all, pretty much. It opened me up to some pretty interesting experiences where, in that moment, we hear the word forgiveness. That played up for me. Being humble, all those factors came in that moment. So that moment brought like a full disclosure of the basic, I would say the basic necessities of life. I sat still for 16 months in the county jail, and I watched all 4 seasons go by out of this little rectangular window. I said, never again, I knew I had too much going on for myself. I was too smart. I didn't deserve to be in a position like that, with the level of intelligence that I had and my ability to be charismatic and the way I was able to bring people together, the influence that I just had on the streets. I was like, I'm wasting my time sitting in this cell. But I'm like, the only way that I can do something powerful with that is I'm gonna have to change everything about me. Mm-hmm. And so, I decided to do the work. I started in jail. A lot of times, I tell people, you started and just didn't know it. The fact that you're having these thoughts, but like I said, if you don't sit still long enough, and that's where the beauty and the glory in this meditation helps, because if you sit, you could start to see certain things that you've already been doing that are taking you down this process. But if life, a lot of we're on autopilot, you got to make the rent, you got to pay your, we're hustling, we got family, whatever. So we're going so much that you really don't get a chance to sit back and just do a little inventory, Just like a company, some of these big companies, I used to work for Home Depot, they had to stop and do those audit days, because now you got to know what you're working with, and that's what the meditation is to me. It's like a personal audit. go in and just check out. So I think I started years ago, but when it became clear to me was when I was sitting still, when I was in the county jail for those 16 months. Well, it was a process, but I've always been a leader. So taking on that leadership role, even if it was something negative, I've always been known as the guy that was going to do his own thing. So when I shifted and started working on getting my life together, getting out of the streets, it was pretty much accepted based on just who I was, the type of guy I was.
Thank you for watching A Wise Way. Subscribe to stay updated, share to pass the knowledge, or view our other videos on the left.